All right, if you have anything you do kind of on a regular basis, every week, every month, every quarter, whatever, and you would like to automate it in Excel, a lot of times the easiest way to do that is to just record a macro. So you just kind of record yourself doing the action, and then the next time you need to do it, you can just run the macro and it'll do it for you. And so you're going to need to add this little developer tab up here to Excel if you have not already done that, which is in here. You hit File and Options. You go to the Customize ribbon, and there's a little developer button right here that you can click. Once you do that, you should have a developer tab, and then here's some macro stuff. Here, there's some other add-ins and things that go along with this, but we're not going to get into that. So anyway, what I want to do is once you hit Record Macro in an Excel file, it will track everything you do and turn it into code, and basically build a computer program. And then when you run that macro again, it will do all of that coding again. And so if you get, say, a report like this one here, where you have different orders in a month for your different stores, for different amounts and different locations, and you would like to pull out particular information each month when you get this report, if this report comes the same structure every time, so A, B, C, D, E, and F have the same everything every time, you can just build macros to run your diagnostics or whatever it is you want to do each month, or your analytics that you do each month. So for instance, if I hit Record Macro right now, I can name a macro. So if we want to know how much we sell, so sales by city, again, you can actually tie these to shortcuts and things. I usually save them to Personal Macro Workbook. You can actually save them in the workbook itself. The problem is then if you get a new workbook, new data, you can't run that in the new workbook as easily. You have to do some work to transfer it over. Whereas Personal Macro Workbook will work on any sheet basically on this computer itself. And then you can put a description, some cases sold for each city. I'm being very inconsistent. I don't care. Alright, so I already played around with this. So I'm going to have it replace the existing one. But now you'll see it'll say stop recording up here instead of record. So as soon as I'm done, I just hit that button and then the macro will end. So like I said, I want to take each location here and find out how many did we sell in Topeka, how many did we sell in Kansas City, how many in Lawrence, etc. But there's multiples of each of these. So what I want to do is I just want to highlight all of F and copy that, and I'm going to put it over here, paste, and I'm going to go to data, I'm going to do duplicates, and there you go. Here's the different locations we're selling to. And then all I have to do is write like a sum if, right? So if I go sum if, my range I actually want it to be F:(F). You don't want to click like location and then Control Shift down. I believe this one goes down to like 405. If you put F1 to F405, the problem is if the next month you sell 520 different orders, the macro will have it written to stop at 405. It won't go all the way down in the column, whereas if you use F:(F), it will use the entire column of F. The criteria is, and I want you to look for how many, every time something shows up in H2 here, which is Topeka, and I want you to sum what happens in, we'll do number of cases, so I'm going to do D:(D), so it's going to look in range for this, and every time it sees this, it's going to sum up that, whatever the corresponding cell in D is. So it's going to say, look for Topeka, here's Topeka, here's 5, and then it's going to keep going down until it sees Topeka again, it says here's 3, so now it's going to be a sum of 8, and then it's going to go down again until it hits Topeka, and now it's going to be 13, and so on and so forth, all the way down. And the nice thing is, now that this is pointing at Topeka, as you drag it down, it'll point next to Kansas City, then Lawrence, and Olathe. So this H2 right here will float to H3, H4, etc. And so I'm going to click and drag that down. Okay. So there's my sum if. And if you want these locations in a particular order, you can put them in a particular order as well by typing each word out instead of doing the copy, paste, remove duplicates. So if you typed them out in say alphabetical order or something like that. Okay, number cases sold. And there you go. Now you have a basic table that can be made every month very easily. So you can just then go to your developer, start recording, and now you have a macro that does that. So let me kind of show you what happens there. So I'm going to close this down and save. Now it's actually going to have 2 saves, so you can save the file itself, which I'm actually not going to do in this case. And then the macro. So it says, do you want to save the changes made in your personal macro workbook? And I do want to save those. So now the macro has been saved. So then the next month, let's say I get a different file. Of course, this case it's just going to be the same file, but that's okay. We're going to pretend. Oh, it did save it. Why did it save it? I don't know. But anyway, you get a new file with a new set of orders. All you got to do is go to developer, go to macros, and here's the sales by city that we just made. If I hit run, it'll just build that table automatically. Okay. So that's the main thing, is like if I do this sort of thing over and over again, I can save a lot of time not having to rebuild that table or have to set up a pivot table each time or whatever. And then if I need to mess with the code, I can as well. So if you have the macros here, when you click the little macros button, I can go into that. So it says step into right here. I can actually go into the code itself and see what's going on. So here's the little program it built. It starts right here. It says select. Right, so select columns F:F. It says selection.copy. So I copied it. I went to H1. I pasted it there at H1, etc. So you can kind of walk through here. And this is where when I hit H, it only went to H1 to H405. So this is where like your ranges, you can make sure your ranges are correct. So H, I would rather have this be H:H, right? And then remove duplicates and things. Here's my sum if. So it's saying, it's going over 1, it's going over 3 columns to the left to find the first piece, it's going 5 columns to the left to find the other piece. So as long as everything's in the same column every time that you receive a report, this will work perfectly, etc., etc. So anyway, it even has like a column if I mess with at the end, so you will always have the table like that. So anyway, if you have anything, you can go through the code and kind of look for, make sure everything's going to work appropriately. Or if anything isn't working, you can go through the code and maybe figure out what's going on. I don't know much coding, and I can still figure out little things here and there. So anyway, that's how you build a simple macro. You can also attach them to buttons and do other fun things. Maybe we'll talk about that in another video. But for today, just play around recording something you do regularly, and you should be able to automate it next time you need to do it.